Okay, anybody see anything they want to declare a conflict of interest on the agenda? I don't think there was anything there at all that would be conflicting with anybody. And agenda item 4.1, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves, whereas the time being 5:02 p.m., that the regular meeting of council be adjourned to a confidential in-camera meeting. Mover seconder, please. Warren, Dean. All in favor? (7:19 p.m.) that the confidential in-camera meeting is concluded and the regular meeting of council is resumed. I need movers, seconders, please. Dean, Warren. All in favor? Carried. Yep. I have a resolution here that 5.2, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to amend the agenda of the December 13th regular meeting of council to add agenda item 7.8, Ministry of Highways. I need a mover and a seconder for that. Anderson. I don't have the check marks here, so I gotta write it down. Irv. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Agenda item 6.1, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to approve as presented the minutes from the November 22nd, 2021 regular meeting of council, and that these minutes be attached to and form part of the minutes of this meeting. Again, I need a mover and a seconder, please. Dean, second. Warren. All in favor? Carried. Agenda item 7.1, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves that Perry Lewin shall be appointed as Municipal Enforcement Officer within the Town of Kindersley pursuant to Section 373 of the Municipalities Action for the purpose of bylaw enforcement, and shall be considered a peace officer for the purposes of bylaw enforcement under the Summary Offences Procedure Act 1990, and that this appointment shall become effective immediate upon the passing of this resolution and shall supersede Resolution 296-21. Somebody want to move that so Perry's got a job tomorrow morning? Moved by Councillor Becker, seconded by Deputy Mayor Irvine. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. 7.2, Audrey, how's the finances looking?
Oh, yeah.
Don't have to get sick.
Yeah. Okay, so, through the Mayor's Council, so this, we're nearing the end. This one is to the end of November. So again, I just did new explanations in red. So the number 3, which is the fire expenses, of course, we haven't, we had budgeted for that fire truck, and we didn't, it isn't here yet, so I think we've paid for some expenses, but not all of it in regards to that. Point number 4, which is bylaw. The revenue, our bylaw ticketing is lower than what was budgeted, and they had wanted to put what into the pound?
Heating.
But you said it was heated.
Yes, ma'am. There's 2 heaters. There's one in the...
But they wanted to put some different kind of heating in? Okay. Anyway, that didn't get done, so that the building maintenance part wasn't done on that, so we can look at that next year or whatever. Point number 5 is the airport, and that's just basically low. I haven't done our transfer yet for the revenue, and there was a large grant in there. And then the expenses are low just because part of the capital project it isn't all completed yet. We're just,
That was the upgrade to the runway lighting, so there was two different components of the capital project, and the runway lights are not yet completed.
and then planning and zoning expenses are below budget, and that's just due to building inspections. Not sure if there's a bunch unpaid yet or not, or if it's
We just
gonna
didn't
be
have a lot of building
Building
permits
permits.
taken out in 2021, so that's why what we had projected is lower than what we actually brought in.
I was just gonna, if I can just throw something in here, Audrey. When does Chris come out? Does he come out regularly?
He does, he's got a team, it's not always him, it could be somebody else, and it's very dependent on what inspections are needed at a certain time. Right now, we just have 2 builds in process, we've got one in Brook Hollow and one in our east side core, so, he
I know
comes
the
out
crisis
and-
center, Pat had mentioned to me.
Oh, and the crisis center, sorry.
They've got quite a bit of, like they got all the heating done and,
So when they need an inspection, all they need to do is either call us and we will call Bill Tech, or they call Bill Tech directly.
I
and
thought
they
Lauren
coordinate
talked
that.
to him directly, but he hasn't shown up yet or something, and by.
Just tell them to contact
third
me then
hand.
and they can work through that.
The contractor, or who's the, or the?
Lauren
contractor
Kelsey is
should
the
be.
project manager.
Oh, okay, well, yeah,
Yeah.
you should take care of all that.
Yeah, he had, but I don't think anybody had shown up yet. He was
Oh, okay.
wondering, but I think they got a meeting Wednesday.
He usually does try to come out, or someone from their team anyways, almost once a week. But it is very dependent on what the status of all the projects are.
Okay, sorry, Audrey, for
Oh,
the
that's okay.
interruption.
Community planning, those expenses are due. We had a couple grants that weren't yet paid, and we did pay them in this run. Sports ground rental revenue is down, and the wages are under budget. This year, just with us taking that over, and it's still kind of new because COVID kind of hit us in 2020, and we did do 2021, so we can kind of look at that. Playground expenses are low, and that was, we moved the Kinsman Park equipment to 2022, or we will be moving it to 22, it didn't get completed. Outdoor rink, of course, we know is just kind of beginning. I don't know if it ever frees enough to do. The NRC capital, so that one right now is low, and that's just because the curtains, I think, just finished getting installed about a month ago, and I think they had some issues on their end because we never got the bill, and so we'll pay for that in the next run. And the water and sewer expenses are currently low, and that was due to the EK contract for the second and third quarter not yet being paid, and of course amortization in water and sewer is very high, so.
We did get the invoice for the third and fourth quarter
Yeah,
from EK now.
was in the check run today.
Yeah.
Okay, so any questions on the finances, council? Things are fairly much straightforward there. I'll move on to agenda item 7.3, that the council of the town of Kindersley directs administration to distribute approved funding to the following applicants from the Community Grant Program 2021 intake. Kindersley Chamber of Commerce, and these are all $750. The Better Together Group, Westbury School, the Royal Canadian Legion, Kindersley Museum, the Rescue, Dog and Cat Rescue Cause, Screen Arts, Kindersley Soccer, the Walking Trail, and the Pathways to Wellness. Those were the 10 apps that we got, and we adjudicated those by email, I guess it was, a couple weeks ago. And I think those checks have all been written now.
Yeah.
So I will need a mover and a seconder for those, please. Randy, second, Gary. Okay. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, we got agenda item 7.4, that the council of the town of Kindersley resolves to approve the following appointments for a term beginning January 1, 2022 and expire December 31st, 2022. Deputy Administrator Kim Vogel, Auditors, MNP LLP. Assessor, the CAO, Audrey Hebert. Building officials, Class 3, Chris Gates of Build Tech Consulting and Inspections. And secondly, Class 3 buildings, Carly Heatcoat of Build Tech. Town of Kindersley Emergency Measures Coordinator, Deputy Administrator Kim Vogel. Town of Kindersley Emergency Measures Deputy Coordinator, Bylaw Enforcement Officer Perry Lewin. Planning Consultancy of Record, Crosby Hanna and Associates. Engineering Consultancy of Record is ACOM. The Board of Revision, okay.
They're identical.
I'm gonna, Development Appeals Board, they're identical, so I'm only gonna read these names once. Stu Devens, Tim Lafreniere, Mike Waschuk, Gordon Parkinson, David Thompson, Stu Hayward, Wayne Adams, Pam Malak, Jeff Hutton, and Sonia Vedayanathan, I'm hoping. And Audrey, maybe if you would just explain what we're doing here. These are regular appointments.
So these are appointments that have to happen every year, and are just on a point of record there. Our Board of Revision and Development Appeals, we used to be with Gord Kersmer and Associates. They have folded the company once Clint passed away at the beginning of this year, and so they've decided to close the company. So we are going with a new company starting, well, immediately, but hopefully not till January do we need them. And so that's what that is for.
I guess the other one, the auditor, this is for the 2021 year end.
Correct.
They're auditing, that's right, because I think we're going to, or their contract is up, so we'll probably RFP it next summer, I suspect. Okay. Any questions on that, council? If not, I'll need a mover and a seconder for that too. Warren? Rob?
Sure.
All in favor? Carried. I gotta get a whistle here. Agenda item 7.5, that the council of the town of Kindersley resolves to approve the sale of lots 2 to 7, block 19, plan 102-369-405 in the amount of $100,000 each, plus GST. Audrey, maybe you can.
Okay, so you might think this has already been done, and it has. We just needed, one of the properties wasn't a direct transfer to title, and it was going through the lawyer, and she wanted a resolution for that transfer of title, so we just put one in here.
This is a resolution for all of them. Okay. If there's no questions, could I just have a mover and a seconder for that? Randy? Second. Rob? I said no, we gotta go. All in favor?
Switch or?
7.6, that the council of the town of Kindersley hereby authorizes the 2021 write-offs as set out in accordance with Schedule A being accounts receivable, Schedule B being utilities, and Schedule C being mobile home license fees as attached to and forming a part of these minutes. CAO, can you update us on this a little bit?
So this is our annual write-off. So for the most part, we're writing off 2017 accounts that we haven't collected. They will stay we won't pull them out of collections, the ones that are in there, but they're to the point where they don't even, legal is not recommended, or they're unable to locate them, or in some cases it's just too small to pursue. Like, we're not going to pursue for less than $100. So we had the 4 accounts receivable. We did have quite a few utilities, and then the 1 mobile home fee. In there. And we do set money and budget money to go into the allowances for doubtful accounts, and so that money is in that account to cover the cost of these write-offs.
Any questions on that? Not, can I have mover and seconder for 7.6? Dean? Second. Warren? All in favor? Thank you. Agenda item 7.7, that the council of the town of Kindersley authorizes administration to transfer the indicated amounts to the following reserves for projects budgeted in 2021 but not completed. Property Development Reserve, $28,650. The Cemetery Capital Reserve, $75,000. Recreation Reserve, $93,000. And the Environmental Reserve, $200,000. Perhaps, CAO, you could just give us a little explanation on those?
Right, so this, so what these are capital projects that we did budget in 2021 that didn't get completed. So the first one, Development Property Reserve, that's the parking lot at the town office here. We didn't get that done just because of the tying in the water and sewer and all the utilities for those new lots. So we will put it on the 2022 budget. It'll probably be way more than that, but at least we have that amount in reserves to cover that. The cemetery capital was for the surveying and plotting of the new plots, and that didn't get totally completed. We have a cemetery board that doesn't want to agree with each other, so they're still tossing. I think we're just going to have to make an executive decision and override one of the members, but and then we have the Recreation Reserve. That is a couple things. So that's the Kinsman Park equipment. The McGowan, that's the word I'm looking for. McGowan Park is in there. And Coleman Park is in there. Just that little spot there, the second phase of Coleman Park is in there. And then the Environmental Reserve, this amount, so this is the amount that we got, or part of the amount we got related from Worley. They gave back
we had a contingency fund for the construction of the new landfill, and so we gave all the partners back their contingency amount, and this is only a portion of it, right? It was
253,000 and some change.
Right, so we just received that check, I guess, at our AGM meeting for the Western Regional Landfill.
And when the landfill when that first phase was done and we had money in the Worley Reserve for that, but there wasn't quite enough. So we had pulled 200,000 out of the Environmental Reserve at that time, that year. So we're just putting that back in there so it can be used for a different purpose, or, something else happens, we can use that. So. There might be, just going forward to this coming back in January again for a couple more, but this was the majority of the ones that we had.
Any questions on that? It's nice to be able to put a little, I think most of this is just deferred expenditure, but the 200,000 is nice to be able to put back in reserves so that we can build those up. That's kind of the goal here for the next couple of years, is maybe to build up the reserves a bit. We've done a lot of projects and.
Oh, sorry, and can I correct?
Yeah.
The 75,000 was not for the plots, that was for the mini excavator.
Oh, okay.
That we didn't purchase yet.
We didn't buy that.
Yes.
No, we're actually looking for a second-hand one, and our Public Works Department, they wanted to test out a few different ones before we made a decision on what we wanted to purchase. So that's why that's not done yet. So we're just deferring it until next year.
Okay. Any, I think that explains this all pretty well. Any comments or questions of anyone? Seeing none, I need a mover and a second. Run, Gary. Second, Rob. All in favor? Jerry. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 7.8, that the council of the town of Kindersley agrees to partner with the Minister of Highways for a 50% split of the construction costs for the north and south legs of Highway number 7 and Ditson Drive to a maximum cost of $300,000. Deputy Administrator Kim, you're up on this one?
So our transportation committee met with the Ministry of Highways last week, and we discussed, I guess, first of all, the project that they just recently completed along the Highway 7 corridor. And then they further discussed the 4 intersections that haven't seen any upgrades, which would be the 15th Street intersection, which is the one by Boston Pizza and the UFA, Highway 7 and 21 intersection, Ditson Drive, and then the East Grid, the intersection where Rocky Mountain Equipment is located. So in the conversation, Ministry of Highway did confirm that they would be paying 100% of the upgrades for all of the intersections except for the Ditson Drive intersection. And council had, discussed on the call that we wanted to make sure that any changes to the intersection, council would be involved in the design process, what the project outcome would look like and throughout the tendering process. So that we would be involved in the upgrades, and that we would then, I guess, partner with the upgrades on the north-south part. So anything that happens right on the highway, Ministry of Highways would be paying 100%, and they would also pay 100% of all the engineering costs as well as project management.
So this is basically our commitment to make sure that the
Correct.
work gets done.
Correct.
We
And
have-
that we're involved in whatever changes that they do
Yeah.
make along the highway, just to make sure that it's going to meet with, what our community residents would like to see, and what would make good traffic flow.
Yeah, the town of Kindersley would have final approval.
Correct.
Yeah. That is.
So, sorry, Mr. Mayor, maybe we should change the resolution to include that clause in it, and I don't believe that the resolution stated that.
Oh, about that.
Just so that when we send that to the
Right.
Ministry of Highways, that is in the actual resolution.
Town of Kindersley to,
That's final approval.
To be involved in the design process and will provide final approval of the project.
Yeah, something like that.
you want it right? Put it the way you want it. Just add it on the bottom and I'll read it again. Yep. Okay, we got it newly crafted, so we'll start over again that the Council of the Town of Kindersley agrees to partner with the Ministry of Highways for a 50% split of the construction costs for the north and south legs of Highway 7 and Ditson Drive to a maximum cost of $300,000, and that the Town of Kindersley will have involvement in the project design and have the final approval prior to implementation. How's that sound? Dean, you're on the highway committee. Rob is on the highway. Okay, if that sounds good, I'll need a mover and a seconder, please. Rob and Dean. All in favor? Good enough. Move on to 8.1, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to accept as submitted the list of accounts as paid by the Town of Kindersley in the amount of $800,536.55, And then a copy of said accounts be attached to and form a part of the minutes of this meeting. Did you have any,
I did from
Questions on that?
from deputy mayor and I answered, I don't, that was the only one.
I was gonna ask you on the one
Sorry,
for,
did you reply?
Did I not send it?
Oh, you might, I don't see it here, but I'll just see if, yeah, this thing. Yeah, I just thought you had, and then we were just gonna run over them.
Okay, I can.
And they're all, I'm sure they're all quite.
Okay, you'll have to. just-
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll just ask the first one that, I was wondering, was that, what did that Miller Thompson one for 46?
so that one-
Which case is that? For several?
Huh?
I just wondered if that was for any one particular case that they moved
It
on.
was for one particular case, but I don't want it, we have to go into,
Okay.
but I can,
Okay,
I
no,
can
fine,
explain that one after.
Fine. And then there was one for the Christian Fellowship, I wondered,
So that one,
30.
that one is 7, so that's the, sorry, Better Together.
Oh, yeah,
Program, so that's the 750, but it has to go to the church, they have a fund inside theirs, so if that's the 750 community grant, and then it's half of the proceeds for the Smile Cookie campaign, which
Oh.
was,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
20.
and that EK for 293,000 was just.
That's the third and fourth quarter for that,
Yeah.
that water line.
I think we didn't get the bill or?
Yeah, I emailed her requesting that invoice and we got it that day.
There's two
so.
fire related ones, a social club for 25 or just under 25.
Okay, so, part of that, was a donation, to them that came in through the town. And the other is for the false alarms on their, payroll. So any false alarms get paid to the.
Oh, the fire brigade $3,900 one? Or no, that's
No,
still
that's the social club.
Okay,
The fire brigade one, there's a bunch of different things. So one of them was the payroll deductions. So anything that the fire brigade paid on behalf of the members, that is their responsibility to pay, we deducted off their paycheck, so that gets paid back to them.
oh, I see, okay.
And then there was also some oil and filters that the brigade paid for that we had to refund them for, and there was one other.
Yeah, that's fine. I just, and then there's a Munisoft for 5,200. Is that a computer?
Unisoft is our tax program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
so
totally separate from Jeff's.
Oh, that has nothing to
Nothing
do
to
with
do-
Jeff whatsoever. No,
okay.
that's just the program that runs the
Yeah,
taxation.
and the last one was that SouthTel West, WC.
Okay, that should have been all department, cell phone and telephone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just so that's centrally.
Yeah, because there was a SouthTel one I didn't inquire about, that was the normal $2,300 bill, and then I saw
Yeah.
this one for another, that's the 23 and this one combined, or two separate?
That was, no, they would be together on the South, well, no, we pay SouthTel.
I think there's a separate
Yeah.
SouthTel.
One's the cell phone and the other is the phone.
So the SouthTel, the one that you questioned on, the
Yeah.
$45.99, that's just our phones. So that's all the land hard lines.
Is that something we see every account?
Yep,
Do we?
every
Oh,
year, or every month. anyway.
every month, really? Okay.
And the cell phones are usually
Yeah,
a couple
separate,
grand.
yeah, just over,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I just thought it was maybe an upgrade or something over there we did,
No.
something I didn't know.
Well, I should have said all departments.
I didn't realize that every month we see that same ballpark figure for all.
Thereabouts, yep. mhm.
Yeah, huh. Okay, no, that was it, thanks.
The one that Pro built there for the repairs down in the basement, is that, some of that an insurance claim?
Yep. All the cost on that, so the cost to demo, to clean it out. So they came and cleaned out the basement, they tore it apart, and then Jeff came in and rebuilt it, and moved everything back. That's all insurance claim except $5,000.
Okay. Any other questions, council, on these expenditures? If not, I will need a mover and a seconder for the motion to pay them. Which we already did, Gary, Randy. All in favor? Gary. Okay, agenda item 9.1, that the council of the town of Kindersley resolves to approve the consent agenda, which includes the following items for acceptance and filing. Sumasure 2022 rate letter and the Kindersley Police report for October and November. I guess seeing as I sit on the board of Sumasure, I can give you the good news that the premiums are going up 20%. If you want to thank anybody, you can thank Meadow Lake.
20%? Oh, wow.
With the burnt ring?
Yeah, cost us $3.5 million out of our fund.
What was the other big one that they referred to in there?
Shell Lake. They had a
Right down there too.
They had a fire too, but it didn't, but a curling rink, I guess it was, but it wasn't anywhere near that. Then it was somebody had a grader or an excavator or whatever it was for $250,000 too. Not sure who that was.
Terry came on.
It was a loader.
Yeah, well, we had a little bit of planned obsolescence.
We don't need to trade anything.
Operator error.
Anyways, that is gonna be a fairly, I'm sure Audrey's already got it in the budget, but, I think that's gonna be about, what, a $20,000 hit for us?
As in premium?
Yeah, I would say so.
Close to
A
that.
little, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, and to be quite honest, we didn't pass on everything. We're hoping that we have a better year next year so that we don't have to do that, but it was a pretty, when you get a couple or three big items like that, and we did come up with some, different deductibles and stuff, because there are sometimes a lot of claims that come in that are nickel and dime, and they cost a lot more money than they're worth, just to investigate them for $1,000 claim.
So
But
does
some guy
Sumasure have it's just their own insurance, or do they reinsure?
reinsure.
They do, and it's still
Yeah.
20%?
Yeah, there's.
The reinsurance is where the problem is.
Yeah.
Their rates went up
Yeah, okay,
40%.
Okay, it just seems like so much.
Yeah, no, they just, we thought it was gonna be 50. And then it came, and they haven't quite finalized it, but it's looking more like 40%. But you can imagine with all the disasters that have been around the country, the insurance premiums are going sky high. I talked to a person I know that owns a motel, and they told me that their premiums tripled. So it's painful.
Climate change.
Yeah,
Atmospheric rivers.
Yes, I can never remember that too.
it's called a thunderstorm
Rain.
out here. Okay, can I get a motion or a mover and seconder for that motion? Dean, Warren? All in favor? Okay, thank you. Agenda item 13.1, that the Council of Town of Ginners resolves that all business having been concluded, the December 13th, 2021 regular meeting of council be adjourned at 7:52 p.m. Mover, seconder, please. Dean, Rob? All in favor?